I, you know, I was in the office, a number of us were in the office on Tuesday afternoon, and I can't remember, um, we were doing certain office tasks, and I think I maybe was researching stuff around the budget cuts and preparing for the the meeting that we're having tomorrow for March 4th. And then I looked on the Yahoo news ticker and saw that there was an earthquake in Haiti and that it was a massive earthquake. If it had said something like massive earthquake, in California, obviously it's a disaster, but you would think a little bit differently about it. Because when you think about something like an event like that occurs in Haiti, you think of a place that is very impoverished and has very little, sound infrastructure. And if you take this earthquake, which was 7.3 on the Richter scale, which is the equivalent of 4 hydrogen bombs, and you match it with the earthquake that occurred in 1989 in San Francisco, which was 7.0 on the Richter scale. In San Francisco that year, it caused a lot of structural damage and to bridges and other buildings. And the San Francisco Bay Area is a large area. There's 7.5 million people within that area, but only 63 people died, and there were 3,000 fatalities. Obviously, that's not the case in Haiti. For a person of color, a black person here in the United States, especially if you're political, Haiti conjures certain images for us, and it's images of being the first and the only the first black republic in the Western Hemisphere, but the only one to win their freedom through an armed struggle. Not that there were armed struggles here. You had Nat Turner, Gabriel Prosser, Denmark Vesey, Charles Deslandes, John Brown. But in Haiti, they were successful. Not only were they successful, but they defeated Napoleon's army. So there's a lot of reverence that we have for, and beyond just that, the Haitian people have continued through the Duvaliers, through the number of military regimes, repressive military regimes that existed. People have continued to rise up and resist and struggle and fight. So it has that history, and there's a lot of reverence for black people towards the people of Haiti, and not just for black people, but throughout the Caribbean and Latin America. Haiti has provided an example of what people can do when they rise up and fight as a mass. The earthquake that struck on Tuesday, it was a massive earthquake. It occurred along a fault line, and one of the things, and it was felt not just in Haiti, but it was felt in Cuba, it was felt in Venezuela, the Dominican Republic, Jamaica, and a few other countries in the Caribbean and Latin America. And it struck in a relatively densely populated area, just outside of the capital of Port-au-Prince, where there's about maybe 3 million people. As far as the last information that I've gotten, there's, been tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of deaths, and who knows how long it's actually going to take for them to find how many people have died as a result of the earthquake. And there are many, because Haiti doesn't have passable national roadways. Even the roads in the cities aren't very passable, and it doesn't have emergency response services for the most part, and it doesn't have the heavy equipment that you would need. You would imagine that there's going to be a lot of people who are still trapped in buildings who may not make it out alive. But one of the things that they've been saying is that in 2000 they started to do these studies, because it's a major fault line, and the last major earthquake was 200 years ago, and so they were saying that it's about due for a major earthquake. And there's a lot of geologists who are coming, well, we warned, we predicted that there would be an earthquake sometime soon. And what does that prediction matter when you don't have the infrastructure and you've been oppressed as Haiti has been? What can you do in the face of that? It's like telling somebody, you know, if you don't get a heart transplant tomorrow, you're going to have a heart attack and you're just not going to make it. If you don't have any access to health care, what are you going to do? Nothing. There's nothing that you can do. You're resigned to, you know, the reality that you can't, you just don't have the money and the resources to fix up your infrastructure within a year's time to prepare for this type of event, this type of catastrophe. You know, there's all these images that I think many of us have seen. You know, the stories that we've heard of people crying in the buildings and no one being able to reach them. Family members in Florida and Boston and New York who come from Haiti, trying to contact family members in Haiti that don't have telephones, but trying to find some sort of way to contact them and can't contact them, in the frustration and the anger and the hurt that people must feel without being able to find out what happened to your loved ones, and you know that they were in an area that was just devastated. And most of us have seen, if we didn't know before, we've read or we've seen the reports about what the poverty, in real numbers, what the poverty is actually like. And we've seen these things 2 years ago when the tropical cyclones hit Haiti and the mudslides, about how people were forced to eat cakes made out of flour, oil, water, and dirt just to survive. And that on the average, in general, most people in Haiti live off of less than $2. 80% live off less than $2 a day. Over 50% live off less than $1 a day. 80% unemployment. Most people, you know, they exist off of subsistence farming, which has existed for a long time in Haiti. 80% of the structures in the country, especially in the urban areas, are made out of mud and adobe. They're not built to be able to withstand such a catastrophe as that occurred. So what were the people of Haiti to do? You know, it's not that we see a lot of the liberals, and we've seen, you know, liberal politicians and right-wing racist politicians in their comments about, oh, the poor people of Haiti, and how people have been cursed and all of these. And we've even seen the worst of it, which was coming from Rush Limbaugh and Pat Robertson, you know, about, at least from Pat Robertson, is about how the Haitian people made a pact with the devil to overthrow the French, which was just absurd and racist and backwards. But, you know, in my opinion, like I said yesterday, if the God of Pat Robertson is against the people of Haiti, then I'm against the God of Pat Robertson. And I think most of us would be. But that isn't the reality. The God that they're talking about is the God of exploitation, the God of profit off of people's backs and their super exploitation. That's the God that he's talking about. How dare they, those Haitians, those black people, overthrow the French and free themselves from slavery? How dare they do that? You know, Haiti has had a long history of, you know, there's a quote that I read from President Jean-Bertrand Aristide, and I'm gonna get to it at a certain point, but it was basically saying that for 200 years, there's been this plot of 200 years against the people of Haiti, and that's basically what it is. And this thing has been a long way in the making to make Haiti the way that it is. It's a small island. It's a resource poor island, but it has not been able to determine its own destiny. Cuba is a small island. It's technically a resource poor island. Yet Cuba is probably the most prepared when it comes to natural disasters, more so than the United States and the so-called developed nations. Haiti was when it first became colonized. It's part of the island of Hispaniola, which Dominican Republic is in. The French began to build it up and import slaves there. It was the richest colony in the entire world. It was richer than the 13 colonies, richer than Brazil. It was the most profitable colony that existed, and it was known as the Pearl of the Antilles. It supplied more than 2/3 of the overseas trade for France. The majority of the world's coffee was grown in Haiti. 3/4 of the sugar that was produced